Desert Radio Podcasts.
It's a little bit late. People have started. We have started long ago with our campaigns, and the people wanted to know where these points are, but we could not explain to them. But now that it's sort of available, we will have to go back again and inform our people, because there is a lot of confusion about whether you should register or whether the old cards are still valid and all those kind of stuff. So it's a little bit late, but at least we have now received some information on that, and we will now start. But it's going to be a lot of work for us to make sure that all our members and all the people, especially in the rural areas, receive the message and get to those stations as from the 3rd of June.
Imms, before we go to you, I just do want to inform the listeners that we apologize for that break and interruption there for about a few minutes and or seconds. We are in conversation this morning with Jan van Wyk, the president of the UPM, as well as the spokesperson of the IPC, that's Imms Nashinge, on the Electoral Commission of Namibia having identified over 4,000 registration points in 121 constituencies all over the country, but also generally to talk about the pace in which the ECN has been moving in an election year. Imms, your thoughts on what Honorable van Wyk had to say, but also generally on the pace of the ECN. Have they been doing enough? Have they been doing it at the correct pace? What's happening?
Thank you very much. I think as political parties, as we are stakeholders of ECN, and I think let us also just appreciate, I think the new leadership has really been doing great. The open door policy, the willingness to be criticized and also accept inputs. I think we have been having meetings, robust engagement for the past 2 years, and we have thrown in a whole lot of ideas and propositions. To some we are seeing them being implemented, but I think it's a thing of it has been a culture at ECN, things done differently without even considering stakeholders. I think that is now different, and I'm hoping it will continue improving. But indeed, maybe timing is also a bit of a challenge. They could have perhaps started 1st of May, but we, from IPC side, we appreciate the fact that the time now has been extended a little bit. We now have 3 months. I think before it was just a month and few weeks, and then we are good to go. I think we do have sufficient time now, but I think we all have that constitutional obligation as citizens of this country to and political parties to encourage ourselves and educate ourselves the importance of participating in our electoral activities, because it cements our democracy. It also gives us, all of us, a clear voice. At the end of the day, if we want to criticize, if we want to ask questions, you know you have participated and you have given whoever the mandate to represent you. So it can't really be ECN baby alone, but I agree there is more to be done. I think from the ECN side is to say, look, if this and that is, we have been using these strategies for the past how many years, they should be able to know what has been working and what has not been working for them, and then strategize tactics that perhaps can be tested to see if they will produce different results. Because with the civic education, just to go out, print posters and these banners on the fences of Cathedral Hospital and other places, I don't think it's good enough. Looking also at the fact that you are now dealing with a newer, youngest generation that they see things differently. They are more amazed by perhaps stronger advertising campaigns. Perhaps maybe they need to go to talk to them one-on-one. I think those are some of the issues that I think will be a problem to us as a country. Remember, we have a serious voter apathy. Namibians don't really get involved and participate in things that they are not going to benefit directly. That's a problem. Perhaps ECN can also look into, or all of us, maybe we should look into introducing new laws to say if you want a job tomorrow, you must prove that you participate in electoral activities, because if you don't participate, who is going to? Perhaps those are some of difficult decisions that we perhaps should look into, so that we compel everyone to get involved and own this process.
Indeed, and we'll break all of that down shortly. Honorable Van Wyk, just to bring you into the discussion here.
Yes.
With the consultations being done with the ECN over the past, let's say, year, has that been enough in order for you to inform your constituents, accordingly on issues regarding the elections?
Yes, there were quite a lot of engagements. I think that the problem that we experienced during these engagements was that, you go there to discuss a certain topic, and then we as stakeholders decided to discuss things that is not part of the agenda. And a lot of time was actually lost because of us going in circles. But yeah, I think if we compare to the past elections, 2019 and even before, this time around engagement is a bit better. There are invitations. I think we also received an invitation on Friday. So I think this time around there are some efforts from the ECN to engage stakeholders much better. But we are also playing tactics that waste a lot of time.
What are with these tactics that you're referring to?
In the last meeting, there were certain discussions around specific issues, and some of the political parties actually came with stuff that was not part of the agenda, and a lot of time was spent on issues that, those of us that are in the system for some time now, we know how these things works. Now you still come and you come and play petty things, knowing that in the past it was like this. There were discussions and this was the outcome. Now you come back again trying to take over the floor and try to prescribe.
Who are these parties, Honorable Van Wyk? We need more context on what you're talking about.
I understand there's some resident associations, and I think that the problem here is that they're not part of national elections. They are not interested to be part in national elections. So when you come to national elections and they are part of these discussions, the questions that they're having is totally different. I don't want to them now. Otherwise, they might in the future say, "But you are doing this and this." But I think really we as stakeholders should be more when it comes to this discussion, more relevant to the topics, and instead of going around in circles and wasting a lot of time.
8:33 is the time on the clock. We're speaking to Jan van Wyk from the UPM. We're speaking to Imms Nashinge from the IPC. We are talking about the state and the pace of the ECN and how it's moving in an election year. We'll go back to the ECN shortly, Imms, but on the role and responsibilities of parties, which both you and Honorable Van Wyk have been speaking about, how active are political parties on civic education when it comes to the elections?
Yeah, no, quite important. I think from our side, we can proudly say we have done quite a lot and good for everyone, not only to the towards the sympathizers and supporters and members of IPC, but every citizen. As you may remember, our president started with the civic education towards 2019 election as an independent candidate, where he took it up on himself to go around the country and educate citizens of this country, especially the importance of constitutionalism and the roles they should play as citizens of this country, the importance of rule of law, and from thereof, people really started understanding and falling in love with this practice. And if you go around now, even members of other political parties made it their business to quote laws and whatnot, which was really not a practice really that much in the past, especially from outsiders of law-making platforms such as Parliament and National Council. And for us also, we started with preparing for the national elections, general elections and presidential on the 21st of March 2022. That is how serious we are committed, and we have been going to villages, we have been going onto the streets of our urban settings, raising the importance of participation in our electoral activities as citizens of this country. Because as a political party, our main business is to participate in electoral activities in the land. Now, if you don't prepare your people, you don't make your people understand, it is going to be a challenge. So it is quite important, and that is what we are busy doing right now through our mobilizers across the country, 121 constituencies and 14 regions. And I think we are going to continue to do so, just to meet ECN halfway, because they really can't really do it themselves. With an understanding also that in our society, we are divided into different categories: those that understand, those that have an interest, those that don't really know what is going on. And it is our obligation as a political party also to improve and change the social consciousness of our people, and to also, make our people understand. Because when we engage, for example, now we are going to have the council elections. The law, ECN has some proposals that are submitted to National Assembly that are just waiting for approval. For example, we suggested that the law says those that qualify to vote in this country, to be an eligible voter, you must be a citizen of this country. But then how do you prove that you are a citizen of this country? Is through presenting your national identity documents. So as of this year, for the first time, we push that, and we are going to have an electoral process where we are going to present your identity documentation plus your voter's registration card. So this, if we continue having these robust discussions with our institution that is responsible to run the electoral activities, it is going to make things easier. I think it is also the culture of pointing fingers to one another and so forth will also become less. And we are also preparing our agents across the country. We have identified around about 4,000, where we are going to make sure that in every polling station, we are going to have patriotic Namibians representing us, making sure that everything is going smoothly. But these are also citizens who are going around the country in their respective regions, constituencies, and whatnot, to convince their fellow citizens why they should vote for us, but why also they must participate, and what is the importance of having an election process that had almost 90, if not 100% participation of every citizen in the land.
Honorable Van Wyk, perhaps from your side, what's the UPM doing in order to assist the ECN on civic education?
Yes, we have been going around for the past 2-3 years, informing our electorate about the processes and the plans for the future. It's a little bit unfortunate, that we did not receive coverage and media coverage. We were in rural areas, we were in urban areas, but network coverage was quite, media coverage was quite low. That actually gives them an indication that the UPM is actually not busy. But we were busy. Currently, the problem that we are currently experiencing is that we are busy forming an alliance with another political party, that is the National Empowerment Fighting Corruption, and we have engaged already from last year the ECN in order for us to get a clear guidelines on the formation of alliances and right now we have not received any approval yet from ECN with regard to the logo to be used and the name to be used. So that is also a challenge for us. But we are on the ground. We are really reaching out to people, make people understand that it's important to go and register for now. First, register. We can still decide later on which party to vote for, which presidential candidate to vote for. But the most important thing now is to make people understand that we need to go and register. The old cards are no more valid. And then also the importance of going to the polls on polling day. We are going to request that the 27th, usually it's a public holiday, but we have learned from the past that even if it's a public holiday on the day of voting, the day before and the day after should also be attended to, because people are enjoying the day before elections and the day of elections. They're still in the mood of partying, and they're not going to the polls. So those are the things that we are going to bring to the attention of government to see whether we should have at least 2 days or 3 days as days where you don't sell alcohol and so on, because alcohol is playing a very, very huge role when it comes to election day. So we are also trying to make our people aware that the problem that alcohol is posing on day of elections. We have seen it in the past, and it's going to happen again. And the people that are on the partying spree on day of elections are the young people, and those are the people that are supposed to go to the polls and vote to make sure that their future is properly taken care of. Yeah. So from the side of the UPM, we and our alliance partners, we are trying our best, although not having the resources. But we are trying our best, and we can see some interest from the electorate.
8:42 is the time on the clock. We are in conversation this morning with Jan van Wyk and Imms Nashinge. In actual fact, we're winding down our conversation with the two, and this is speaking on the ECN, while giving us a development last week on identifying over 4,000 registration points in 121 constituencies, 14 regions all across the country, but also to chat on the developments and the pace in which the ECN has been acting on this particular year heading to elections. Imms, from your side, 3rd June to 1st August, those are the dates in which Namibians should register themselves. Is that enough time?
I'm not too sure. I mean, we have this culture of loving last minute activity, so I'm afraid, but it will also really depend on our efforts as political parties as to what type of strategy some colleagues are going to put in place. We have ours. We are going to launch our campaign to encourage Namibians to go out there and get registered, because the process, the current system that we have been using has now expired, is no longer valid. we need to get a new system, we need to get a new voters roll and so forth. It will really depend on us as how best we can improve this time around and go out there and engage, especially the younger Namibians and those that have lost hope as well, because wherever we have been going in rural Namibia, in urban Namibia, many have expressed that they no longer feel like voting because every other time they voted, they got disappointed. So again, it's a thing of how are we going to convince these people, persuade them that giving up is not an option, but we again need to go out there, perhaps think twice as to perhaps the problem is on your side where you have been giving wrong people the mandate, I guess, to run your affairs as a citizen on your behalf. But above all, I think let's see up to the 1st of August what the result will be. And with a little time we are going to be left with maybe even 3 weeks, we should compromise to go back again and encourage these people to go out and perhaps, if possible, let us put resources together and perhaps ECN resources, I mean, not necessarily money, but maybe even human capital if necessary, that ECN should not just be expecting these people to come to the registration points, but maybe I'm not too sure if they are going to have mobile teams, but maybe there must be mobile teams also going around wherever, even if it is these chilling spots, but depending on what time you should go there to find your people are still sober. And if it's church, let's enter that church and encourage everyone. And I think there are churches, for example, that we know they encourage their members not to participate in political and electoral activities of their country. I think those ones should be dealt with as well, because that's an unpatriotic move to tell people not to participate and allow others to go out and participate on their behalf and expect things to happen, better things to happen for them, whilst they have not participated and expressed themselves who they want to represent them and so forth. The other challenge really is also just us to understand when going out there, we need to, especially the discouraged citizens that I have alluded to, what message should we give them as a message of hope? But again, it's a thing of, I think it's not only political parties that should be involved. In the past, during the liberation struggle, churches were at the front in terms of spreading the message of hope, the importance of freedom, and so forth. Churches should also get involved this time around. They should be involved because when you have a working democracy, it is better for everyone. I'm at peace. My social issues are being addressed. I'm able to come to church as well with a sober mind, with a happy soul, and not just coming crying and raising my problems, how hungry I am, how my children are struggling, not having jobs, and so forth. So I think this time around, we need to start a new culture where we truly need to also prioritize the importance of a very strong democracy by encouraging ourselves to say participating is important than spending a day at the bar in other places.
Indeed.
While other people are going to queue up, even towards the elections.
Indeed. Honourable Van Wyk, lastly, we'll also just bring you in on that point, on whether you think those dates are enough given by the ECN.
Yeah, we are not quite happy with the time period. But yeah, it's set now, and there's nothing that we can do about it. The only thing that we can do now is to encourage our people to go in to the registration points from the first day. Don't wait for the last day. we do have that habit of waiting for the last moment before we go and do something. So our request to our people is, let's start from day one. Let's go and register. I will be the first one at the Reboot Primary School on the 3rd of June to go and register. And I would like to urge all our eligible voters out there, please go and register as from day one. Don't wait for the last day. We don't have much time.
And the gentlemen, for your time this morning, thank you all so much. There will probably be more developments from the ECN, so we'll definitely continue this discussion.
No, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very kindly. Have a nice one.
Cheers.
Okay.
Jan van Wyk from the UPM is a president there, as well as Imms Nashinge from the IPC, just speaking to us on what they think about the ECN. Well, announcing those registration points, over 4,000 across 121 constituencies in the country, across those 14 regions. And this is as the registration period is expected to be from the 3rd of June rather to the 1st of August 2024. We will of course see how all of that does pan out. The time on the clock is now 10 minutes towards the hour of 8 o'clock. I am winding down the show this morning, and we of course just going to look at what is in our newspaper before we do let you go. In case you did miss our newspaper review this morning, air crash probe to take focus on take-off time, pilot licenses, broken promises, Zim banker fails to repay 140 million Namibian dollars, NWR are liars and irresponsible. And then we have men should examine their testicles every month. Remember how that was all debated on social media. 7 trade unions deregistered, fish rod accused, stumbling bid to stop prison move. Disappointed as Namibia loses top position on press freedom, voter registration cause intensity on page 5. The daily diversions, my favorite page, on page 4. Inside the mysteriously abandoned ocean towers left eerily quiet of UK coast after World War II. And then we do have more stories. That is on your page 6. Is the Youth Central as a night of community and creativity. Naledi Nakuta story there. And then we have UNAM students new teaching methods in Norway. Farewell to exceptional NG, writes Esther Kali. Celebrating Portuguese, Javelina da Costa, Vivian Losh, Sean Martin and Rui Carmo penning that piece together there. And then of course we have your entertainment segment on page 9 that reads Javanko pours heart out, and Omothea Duo drops second album. And then we have much more on in the Namibian newspaper. That's the SMS segment on page 10. The bottom line is on page 11 with concerns raised over G7 diamond routing through Belgium. Competitions Commission collects 13.1 million in penalties. And then that continues on page 12. Your Oshiwambo segment starts on page 13, and then your sports starts on page 15 and ends on page 16. And all of that for just $5 Namibian. Tell me we can't give you more. It is 8:53. That is the time of the clock. I do have to say goodbye to you now. It's been a pleasure being in your company, and of course making sure that this is a morning that starts off great, that starts off fresh, that starts off right, as it is a Monday. It's the 6th of May. And do not forget, I'm telling you now, start buying your winter clothes already. Come end of June when it starts getting cold, it's gonna be ridiculously expensive to buy a winter clothes. So start doing all of that. Now, we also do want to apologize. There seems to be some cutting cutting in the transmission rather. The line isn't so clear, it isn't so smooth on FM in particular, on frequency modulation, in the words of KG Malloy. So we do want to apologize for that. If the problem does persist, please do rest assured that we are taking care of it. Alternatively, you can head to desertradio.fm or stream.namibian.com.na. It should be clearer there. But for now, you probably have experienced or might experience a few glitches every now and then. But don't worry, we are taking care of the technicians are on the ground working around that particular issue. And once again, deepest apologies from our side. 8:54 is the time on the clock for me and for yours. Good morning.
Desert Radio Podcasts.